put out the post to everywhere in the universe.
You been good though?
Yeah, dude, I can't complain. It's business as usual. Nothing fun and exciting, but it pays the bills.
Yeah. How are the cats?
We actually had to put our one cat down 2 weeks ago that we had since he was a kid, 12 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
Life sucks, man. It sucks. He
rough.
had lymphoma and stomach issues. Like he would eat a lot, but he wouldn't absorb any nutrients. So like it was terrible.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Dude, what's the deal with these two puppies you got? They're like completely different sizes, right?
Yeah, they're about the same age, but we got a Doberman. Hopefully this is better, a little bit closer to the Wi-Fi. We got a Doberman pinscher to protect the house. In a couple of years, it'll take her a while to get up there. And then we got a wiener dog, and then that's in addition to the wiener dog I already have. So it's pretty crazy out here right now.
It's a packed house that quick.
Yeah, and we already had a cat. I don't know if you've seen my cat maybe a few times.
Yeah.
Suni. So Suni's upstairs. She creeps downstairs every once in a while. I'm trying to put her on a diet. So she comes downstairs when she's hungry because I feed her once a day now because she's pretty fat. And I think that gives her motivation to come down. And the dogs will chase her back up. So
what's this deal? Can we have it so that I understand what you're saying? Like you want to see the format, but usually it's just automatic. Like I think it would just be kind of excessive to add this. I don't know. What's your thoughts on this?
Want to throw this out there before I forget. How about adding something that shows the media format of the item, like hardcover, paperback on GoTo Lister, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I guess like when you list it, but like I think about it like what sense would it make
Just
to even
match
do that?
up, maybe to match it up. Maybe.
I guess so.
Yeah, we could, but we got a lot cooking up. We're just optimizing mobile listing right now. So I don't know if you've messed around with that at all.
I haven't because it's only for Apple right now, right?
Yeah, it's actually Dom says it's out for Android, but you got an email this morning asking about Android. I'm like, it should be live. Like, try deleting and re-downloading your app. But from my anticipation of the meeting, it should be live. So maybe when's the last time you deleted it and re-downloaded?
It's been a while because I figured it was just for the iPhone, the mobile listing beta test. So I'm on Android, so I was like, I guess I'm left out until it actually gets to Android. So I'm gonna have to try it.
Yeah, I mean it's good if I'm gonna make a lot of YouTube videos on this. I think I'm gonna do more runs for YouTube videos. I'll do like the talking head videos like we normally do, or I normally do, where I'm just sitting here giving tips. But I think it's gonna be really valuable for me to go out and find like 500 to 1,000 in profit in one day. And then I know personally, just from my past, I would use mobile listing all the time because I'm always on the go. But really a benefit of mobile listing is number one, you get to check for restrictions. Sometimes you forget, especially if you're a beginner, that you can't sell something. And number two, you're double checking the profitability, which you really should be doing, especially at library sales, fast-paced environments. I mean, so many times we get home and the books aren't profitable anymore or we're restricted. And so it's kind of that double check you need anyway. Schedule the send. So fill a box, schedule the send, and maybe you fill another box. And now GoTo Lister fills in your batches automatically. That's nice, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think
I was thinking about you, and I'm like, dang, like the way you were telling me, like one batch per box, and I'm doing it. I'm like, this kind of sucks clicking everything. And Dom was able to do that in like a day. So that's nice. And so then you schedule all your sends. So what we're doing is we're scanning all the items in store, we're listing them. And then we're scheduling the send. By the time you get home, cook some food, you can go upstairs or wherever your computer's at and click on print all, and it's going to print them immediately because the effing SKUs are already generated. And so in my head, it kind of makes it better than a few years ago where we had split shipments. Now, I guess your way was probably the best, Mike, where you used to scan, print the effing SKU, and then you paid for placement, but you're paying for that. Now we're not paying for, we kind of are, Amazon's forcing us, but we're not paying for placement and we're guaranteed no splits. So selling books on Amazon in 2025, if you can kind of get a good system for a listing, it's frustrating definitely way more frustrating the first few times doing it. But if you use mobile listing or just get in the flow like Mike does, where you make a new batch each time and then it's ready to go the next morning, you just kind of got to get past that mentality of it's going to be ready instantly. And if you're able just to work fast and hard and batch everything together during the times that you can, I think on a per hour basis you can still list just as fast.
Yeah, I think the upside is there's nothing but upside to it, right? Like, because I mean, think about what we're dealing with right now. Like, Amazon could change the API again or something, right? So having this in place and being able to list mobily, like, it's just there's no downside to it at all. Any way you kind of look at it, so it'll it's going to be a nice addition.
Yeah. And then I know I keep saying this, but we do have all the UI and everything built out for our sourcing tool, so that's going to be next, and it's going to go hand in hand because then you'll be able to click on the list. And so if you want to, you could still do the recheck, which I really think you should, but you can now list, which is essentially a recheck as you're scanning the item and get that active too. So Romer, what's the deal with the validation issues in GoTo? Just email us and we can help you out. I think we fixed it, but if you're still running into issues, let us know exactly what's happening and we'll get it fixed for you.
It's Tommy Boy's been around for since I started my membership. It's what the people somebody posted in the support. It's like 5 validation errors detected in the. So I'm sure you guys are probably working on it, whatever. But it seems like a few people have been running into it, something along with their address.
Whenever you guys run into issues, please message us because we don't know about it unless y'all tell us. That's the first time I've heard about it. But we used to have a lot more of them, and then we started, or maybe it's happening again because of the instant batch or something. Maybe that's why. But we used to check with one of the companies, maybe FedEx or Google, to verify your address before sending it to Amazon. What up, Tyler?
I'll Tommy Boy, just message me in Discord your GoTo Lister like email address, and I'll reach out to Dom for you. I did check with you, Dom. No response yet. I've been waiting for a second day. I'll reach out to Dom through Instagram and have him take a look. Just send me your information.
Sweet.
I love bugging Dom every once in a while on Instagram. I'm like, yo, dude, I got a problem. Can you fix it? He's like, oh, what is it?
You're definitely the one to be doing it because you're one of our biggest affiliates.
I got a library sale tomorrow.
Nice. What's your game plan?
It's I get better results as smaller ones that got between like 5 and like 15,000 books, dude. This one, it was a while ago. I went, there was nobody else there. It was one other person there, and they did eBay. So like, it's probably going to be the same thing tomorrow. It's only like 6,000 books, but DVDs and CDs are 4 for $1. The books are $1 a piece. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, up in the mountains, but dude,
that's fun.
It's too easy, man. You just
go in.
Yeah.
You've been to the sale before?
Yep.
Nice.
Last time was 3 IKEA bags. I was there for about an hour and a half. I only spent like $80 because they're so cheap.
Nice. Cookies and tackle and scan.
Nah, I got this one guy that goes to all. Well, not all. He doesn't go to this one, but he goes to a lot of them. He sucks. He doesn't scan ISBNs, and I scan behind him every time, and I'm just like, put shit in my bag, and I know he's like looking over, like, what the hell is this guy doing? I'm just like, I'm just scanning this shit.
Dude, I got 2 pallets in my garage right now. One of CDs, DVDs, and one of books. I want to make a YouTube video about it. One of my best YouTube videos is how to do bulk books. Everyone always wants to do bulk, and I don't recommend it to everyone, but it is kind of like when you get a little bit of success, the next natural thought process is how can I get like so many books for my own? So these pallets are from Dave Can Read. He's my friend in Denver, and he processes tons of the Goodwill's inventory in his warehouse. And so now what he's doing is he's auctioning them off. He's actually selling them. I don't know how much. I think I was going to pay $500. He sent them for free, but I think the price would have been $500 for 2. Maybe. I could be wrong on that, but I'm going to do whatever the number would be that you buy them for. I'm going to run the profitability on it. So if people do want to run bulk from home, this is kind of a good test. You could order a pallet or 2 from David instead of getting, a truckload from Goodwill and really find out if you enjoy doing that. But I'm
I
not
had
the
this.
2018 Avery anymore where I was like, dude, I went to my old apartment recently and the storage unit right next to it where I used to run. And they say the world's getting cooler. I don't know if I believe that, but these summers feel so damn hot to me. But I heard recently, I got the Joe Rogan podcast, it's getting cooler. It feels hot as shit. And I'm like, I don't know how I did that in the summers. I would go in there, just scan books like a madman. I had Whiskey, Wildman Willie with me, Cowboy Keith, and we'd just go through all these books. And now I'm struggling getting through these 2 damn pallets. I should probably shoot the video after this, but the sun's finally setting. But man, it's a lot of work to go through a pallet in the summertime in Tennessee.
Yeah, dude, it's bulk is. I think it sounds glorious, right? Because you get all this shit and you don't know what you're gonna get, but oh man, it's gonna crush your average reseller because it's so much junk you got to get rid of. And I did one-on-ones with this lady a while ago, probably around a year ago, and she had it figured out. She would buy the Gaylords from Goodwill for $80. She'd buy like 4 at a time, rent a truck, get them back to her house. She would pay like local high school kids to scan them. She would send the greens, and then she would pay somebody to take all the duds right to half price books, and they would literally just take the Gaylords. Like she would just drop all 4 Gaylords at half price books. She was making crazy money. I don't know what happened to her along the way. I know she was pregnant and she was going to have a kid. I don't know whatever happened to her after that, but literally she would just buy the things and then just wipe her hands of it. Half price books would give her well back over the $80 she paid per Gaylord for all the junk. It was crazy. That's you got to have an outlet, right? Because you get stuck with all this stuff, especially if it's hot. Like I just give my stuff away. All my extras, I got a ton of DVDs and CDs. I'm going to give away next time the library reaches out to me so I can clear out my unit. I don't even try to monetize them no more. I just want somebody to come get them so I don't have to take them somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good skill to have because if you can make money off Amazon and you just have more confidence in your business. That's been a huge thing for me this year is with my wholesale business. Just I've sold enough inventory off Amazon, not quite enough to like really sleep perfectly at night, but enough to where it's like, okay, if I got restricted in this brand, then I could move a lot of the inventory to other people or even businesses too, and I think being an Amazon seller, having that confidence of other sources of income, even if it's selling books off Amazon, is really going to help you sleep at night. And so for everyone starting out, like you guys are probably just getting into it and you're happy with the money you're making, but eventually, any way you can diversify. Look at me and Mike. We're here giving away the secrets to you guys. I'm making a software for booksellers. Like arguably, like telling other people how to sell on Amazon isn't the best idea if you want to keep it all to yourself, but it does diversify. It is fun. That's why we enjoy doing it. But
The thing is, dude, we know at the end of the day, it was going to come down to who's going to work harder. Like we are confident in our ability to outwork 95% of people out there. So like we can literally put everything out there, right? Like every single setting we have, every single thing to make, 6 figures on Amazon. But at the end of the day, you still got to go out there and get the job done. And most people, unfortunately, like they're not going to go scan, 100,000 books in a year, 200, 300,000 books every single year.
yeah, exactly. What up, Trey White? What up, Matt Clemens? Shout out to Matt. If you guys go to the GoTo Lister website and go to the help section, he's the one that helped make all of that, all the step-by-step tutorials in terms of words. One more thing I've been thinking about, I'm going to do a YouTube video on this when I'm in the right mood, but Amazon, and really I can't speak for too many other businesses because I've only done so many, but especially on Amazon, I think we can all agree there's a lot of risk that's involved. And one of the biggest things that can happen to you is have an account shut down. And this can happen if you run a Facebook business where you're running advertising there. You could have your account banned there. It could happen on TikTok. TikTok could get deleted, or banned by the president. And I was talking to my friend who does construction. He's actually about to put in a hot tub slab. You guys should comment. Should I ask the HOA about putting the hot tub in the backyard? It's already in the backyard. Should I ask the HOA for putting the slab in or should I not? That's my kind of debate right now. But I was talking to him about construction, and he's like, man, I just want to get into what you do because my business is so risky. And I'm just over here thinking, man, like, I don't know if Amazon's a business for you if you're afraid of risk. He's like, no, let me explain. And he explained it in a way that made sense. He was like, well, my construction jobs, there's so much risk. If I screw something up, I could get sued XYZ. One of the workers could do something. It's like, it's all on me. It's all on the LLC. And so every business has this level of risk. And many businesses in 2025 have the level of risk when it comes to like one platform ruining you. YouTube could take us away. Amazon, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, you name it. And so we're all kind of like, it's like an algorithm could take us out. And so what I've been thinking of is like, it's kind of like being in the jungle and realizing there's a tiger around the corner. And it's just realizing when the tiger is there, how to avoid the tiger, and just not being mad at the jungle for having tigers, or even yourself, because we have to eat to survive too. So we're taking out other creatures, not to mention. And even in your Amazon reselling business, Mike's blazing through a section right before somebody else comes, and that person's not getting as much profit as he did, you know? And so I think with Amazon, it's a mutual beneficial relationship, mutually beneficial. Like, they get 15% of all of our sales, plus probably 20 to 30% if you included FBA fees. I'm sure there's a lot of profit in there for them. But really, I think there's this level that everybody gets to. And thank God you haven't been there yet, Mike. But you are, like, I'm not saying you are, but you're most likely going to go through some type of either account shutdown, mass gating, a big brand you sell, category you sell. And then what's going to make it or not make it for you is, are you going to look at this as a challenge to keep pushing forward, or are you going to look at this as like, slap on the wrist isn't the right word for it, but are you going to look at this as like, oh, Big Daddy Bezos told you no, therefore this isn't a good business model? And I've seen it so many times. Like when I ran restricted inventory, I got up to the point where my best year, second or third year on Amazon, I was doing 200,000 net profit just off textbooks from you guys, from the community. Everybody was sending me books and I was selling them. I went through an account shutdown, went through several, and then eventually I was like, this is too risky. I'm not going to do it. Was that the right conclusion? Well, now I get to run my other businesses. Like, I feel like my life's good, whatever. But there was somebody else who was in the same exact position as me that I found out recently. And instead what he did was just continue to push forward. And he talked with the brands more. He talked with Amazon and just kept pushing and positioning himself in a way and presenting himself in a way of like, hey, this is what I want. And he was actually my partner for a while, but he got approval to sell textbooks. The brand allowed him to sell textbooks. Amazon, I don't know if they shut down his account, but he got it back. And I know several booksellers who've been shut down and gotten their accounts back. And so he went through this huge thing of like all of his revenue was gone. And then instead he took it and he got the brand and Amazon to be on the same page. Hey, we'll let you sell textbooks. Both parties agree. And now he's running a $500,000 profit company. Part of that revenue is restrictedinventory.com, but a lot of it's something else, a consignment textbook business though. And I look at that and I'm like, did I miss it? Like, did I just like, cause I concluded to myself, it's over. And I've taught enough people in the Amazon space that I've seen people go through it. And I'm watching people today go through it where they get an account shut down. They try for a couple weeks or even a month to get their account back and then they give up. And I think that we're dealing with a monopoly, number one, but number two, we're dealing with the algorithms of the monopoly of a extremely consumer-centric business. They're trying to make the customer happy. They don't care about the sellers. Sellers are actually a liability to them in some sense because there are people loading up trucks filled with Nike stolen goods. And honestly, it's pretty easy. If Amazon lets you sell XYZ, it's pretty easy to get away for a while with selling counterfeit products, especially if they look genuine. You know, some of the Indian textbooks look better than the textbook that's authentic that you would find in Goodwill. So how do you deal with that as Amazon? And so the way they're dealing with it is they're like, we'd rather just kick X number of sellers. So when the Supreme Court comes after us, we can say, hey, look, we've taken out this many bad actors. Little do they know, many of them are, you know, people running businesses from home, making 100K a year, 200K a year for themselves. There probably are a lot of bad actors to take out too. And so that's kind of my interpretation of this whole Amazon situation that we're in right now. And I just encourage people, if you ever get into any trouble or issues, reach out to Mike or me. Like we have a magician of an account health specialist who I've seen, she's worked magic on people's accounts to get them back. And, you know, it's kind of like any business where it's like who you know, and you guys are fortunate enough to like know us. And so that's a long spiel. I just feel like it's been a crazy few years, and I don't think this is unique to our business. I feel like it feels unique to us because we're just Amazon sellers, and that's kind of all we know. But talking to other industries, it happens in every industry where there's like this extreme level of risk, and at scale, any company is dealing with lawsuits all the time. There's people just trying to take you out. We're just at a very small scale, and we happen to deal with Amazon's shutdowns, which is very annoying. But I think if we would switch our perspective of, oh, okay, it happened to me, like, let me make it past this. And of course, you're doing everything right before then. Like you're getting your receipts from Goodwill. You're making sure you're listening to Mike the Used Book Guy. Don't send like 2 copies of one book in a shipment. Like all these little things we know to do. And those are just like some tips. But like the more granular things would be like maybe if you got ungated in CDs, DVDs, you're going through christianbook.com, you're buying 10 units. You know, like you're doing everything Amazon wants you to do. So when anything happens to your account, you can come back and fight hard. But yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I've seen too many people kind of call it quits, and I'm like, should they have really called it quits? And then on the flip side, I've seen people stay in it and just make a ridiculous amount of money. And so I'm like, this is just an obstacle that some people, like in their head, they couldn't get past. Amazon's not the law. Like they're not legal. They're a platform trying to look out for themselves, you know? So anyway,
I think the problem is like people hear, oh, you can get banned on Amazon, and they like never really like try to give it a real shot, right? Like you get these in my realm, we get all these people that sell media on eBay, and like you get
that too. I'll let you finish, but I have thoughts about that whole thing too.
it's just like, why? Okay, sure, there's a chance you can get banned, whatever it may be. But like I'm here today, right now, I'm worried about what's going on right now. Like, so you're just going to limit your whole life on something that may or may not ever happen. And it drives me nuts because people are like, well, you're eventually going to get banned. It's like the same shit they always yell at Steve about not having invoices. Like, you don't have invoices. Well, here we are month after month, year after year, making tens and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's like the people that never even try because they're scared of something that might happen. It's so asinine to me. And I'm just like, you get yourself in a situation, right? Like you got a house, you have other companies going on. Your cash flow, you spend it, you know, going from living in a car to living in a house. Like you're smart with your money. So if worse comes to worse, who cares, dude? Me and you could go start a landscaping business tomorrow. We'll go buy a damn hedge trimmer and a lawnmower. Like it's so stupid. Like people get so caught up future tripping. Yeah, that's like it's crazy to me that people are scared to start Amazon because you might get banned. Who cares?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just a big fat excuse. And just like when COVID hit, so many businesses went out of business, and then people were like, oh, I couldn't survive, blah, blah, blah. It's like, what about all the other businesses that did survive in your industry down the street from you? You know? And so I think a lot of people just kind of want an excuse to get out or not even start. So they feel better about themselves. Like they see Steve, and I saw Steve. This is funny. I saw Steve on YouTube years ago, and I remember him saying he sold 10,000 in books, and I'm like, there's no fucking way this guy sells 10,000 a month in books. I think I was at like 1,200 or 2,000 or something. I'm like, there's no way. He's just like chilling in his house. Looks like a well put together guy. Like he's not scrappy. Like there's no way this guy's doing 10K. Like he's making fucking YouTube videos, and sure enough, he was. And now he's doing 10K a month profit with eBay to Amazon. You know, and so, but I think we can all seep back into that mentality of like, there's no, like, this guru's a scammer. This guy on YouTube's not telling the truth. And maybe it's true. That's the worst part. It's like a lot of times it is true. And like, oh, I caught him. He's not actually making money. And so then, but why do they do that? Number one, it is right to do. Like it does piss us off when people are lying about their profits or whatever. But number two, it kind of gives you an out because it's like, oh, this guy's not making money anyway. And then, so I think it's an excuse. And then at a deeper level on Amazon, I think I think some people are just overwhelmed. And then when it happens, they're like, oh, like they wanted to be out of the business anyway, and it's just it's the reason to get out. But I dealt with probably more bullshit. I'm not going to say than anyone I know, because I know some people have been through a lot, but I've definitely dealt with like more quantities of bullshit than anyone I know in terms of shutdowns and brand restrictions. But I just know myself, and I haven't talked to every single Amazon seller out there. I'm sure there's people who have had it worse. But that being said, it's like I have to tell myself this, because every time something happens, I'm like, okay, like let's look at this as an obstacle, and like let's look at this as an obstacle that can be overcome. And even if Amazon says we can't apply for approval for the brand, that doesn't mean you can't. That's actually like, okay, like Amazon's telling me I can't sell this brand. This happened with textbooks. The textbook guy wouldn't let him sell any textbooks at all. He called the brand, he called Amazon, and then came up with a settlement and paid. And then sure enough, Amazon let him sell the books they said they would never let him sell. And this happens over and over and over again. So I think kind of shifting our mindsets, and this can lead in a lot of different things. Perception's reality. Like maybe you're at a library sale and you think you can't get backroom access, or you think you can't get them to scan the books for you, put them in boxes and ship them to you. Like you can. But a lot of people just don't even think of that possibility. Like, is it a lot of work? Of course it is. But if you present yourself in a certain way and say, hey, like I run a consignment business. I've been selling on Amazon for 5 years. Maybe you've only been selling for 5 months, whatever it is. And then present yourself to the library in a certain way, then in their head now, just like in Amazon's head, whenever you're appealing, or in the brand, whatever, like it's all about perception's reality. And now the library all of a sudden is like, wow, this guy's like has a lot of experience on Amazon. We have a lot of books. What if we did do this? And I have friends that have convinced like dozens of libraries like in their city to do that. And now the libraries just scan the books, ship the books to them, and they then pack the books. Like the creativity and like the limits that we have are endless to building and scaling this business. And even if you go into a thrift store and everything strikes out, like thinking, oh, this business model sucks. It's like, how many places you scan? Like go scan 50 places, go scan all the mom and pops, go scan all the libraries, and then make the effort to get backroom access at the libraries, at all the mom and pops. Think about the estate sales, go to them, go to the library sales, show up early, like, and then think of like the next level of techniques. Like even as I got into this business years in, libraries closing down, colleges closing down. If you guys go to librariesclosing.com or something like that, I don't know if that's the name. Caleb made a website years ago. I can talk about it now because it's been years. But we were going to libraries just closing down and just clearing them out, just scanning every single book they had. And so just going to the thrift store and scanning that's just scratching the surface, And so I think this mentality of just always taking it to the next level and always asking what's next, whether it's a brand restriction, whether it's at the thrift store and you're striking out, like how can you dig a little bit deeper and find those profitable books? How can you dig a little bit deeper and sell? What's a big brand that some people are selling right now? It's not Sony. It's
Universal.
Universal. Like, oh my gosh, we're coming across so much Universal. Like if we could just sell it, and then digging a little bit deeper into the community and finding out how to get ungated in that. Now you have leverage that nobody else does, So Amazon wants resellers. That's for sure.
I'll tell everybody right now, you probably think that all these other scanners are like me and Avery, and I'm here to tell you that it is the exact opposite. 95% of these people have no idea what they're doing in this business model. Like, yeah, we talk about selling books online, but most people don't know who the hell we are, right? Like every once in a blue moon, I'll get recognized out in public, but it's not like everybody's using the trigger sets I put out there. It's the complete opposite. So I think a lot of people just have this fear of like, oh man, this person is like Avery and Mike. Like I'm not going to find nothing. I'm here to tell you, I would bet all my money every single time that they have no idea what they're doing, and they're probably using default triggers. I actually seen somebody selling their FBA book business on Facebook Marketplace by me. I never seen the person out and about, and I've sourced in their area all the time. And they had the profit of the items like on a sticky note on each book, and like this shit was just garbage. Like $1.30 Tom Clancy profit book because they're using default triggers. That is the reality.
I don't think I've ever seen an FBA business for sale and it actually be a good deal.
No, dude, it never is, because if it was, they would keep doing it.
Mainly, I've seen so many booksellers try to sell their business over the years, and I've just never once. I sold my book business. I don't know if it was a good deal or not, but probably way better of a deal than anyone else's. No, it's a good deal. It's still cranking today. But everyone I've seen is like same story as you. It's these extremely high ranked books, 2,000 in inventory. Oh, I have 2,000 units in inventory. It's like, do I want to buy a business and pay $2,000 in removal fees or 4,000 and get a bunch of 1.5 million ranked books in cardboard boxes sent back to my house?
No, it's not what it used to be with this. And unfortunately, people get in these situations like unfortunately they didn't come across the YouTube channels, right? But you can't save them all at the end of the day, and it sucks. Like when I seen the guy that was selling all of his profitable books, I'm just like, I feel bad because like you never really have a chance, right? Like you're kind of set up to fail from the beginning with these shitty default triggers. So I'm like, man, it sucks, but at the end of the day, business is business, and you got to keep it going. And it's it's like you said, it's just fear of missing out, and then fear of something that might happen that's never going to happen. Just let's make money today. Let's get as rich as we can today. So if worst comes to worst, me and Avery wake up tomorrow and we're both banned for life on Amazon, we'll be all right. We're going to find a way. It's not like we need that money every single day. We're getting on Amazon and hitting pay me now, pay me now, pay me now. There's building blocks to this. And you got to, if you're going to sacrifice today, like it's got to be worth it at some point. You're not going to keep working 80 hours a week and still live dollar to dollar, right? That's just asinine. You're just going to run yourself into the ground.
And I guess that's why I've reframed it in my head, because I've had a lot of other struggles in business that I'm not going to say make an account shutdown look like nothing, but given like the contacts that I have now to like reinstate accounts, which by the way, all you guys have, just message me or Mike. Did I ever introduce you to my account specialist?
No, but I've personally helped people.
Okay, yeah, just reach out if you ever have someone who's like going through some crazy stuff, even an account shutdown. I have someone who can probably help with everything. So I'll introduce you guys. She's worth knowing for sure. But I guess my point is like, if you ever, whenever you're going through something like that, it's just reframing it to you can push forward, And I was thinking about something else, but I forgot what it was. What were we talking about like 10 seconds ago, 20 seconds ago?
I just think overall, dude, if I never really doubled down on Amazon and like said this is going to be my main thing to work with, like I'm going to go as hard as I can, like I probably wouldn't be reselling at all today because this type of opportunity doesn't exist on eBay. I don't care what anybody says, right? So like if I never doubled down and said to hell with it, let's run this up while we can, then none of this exists. So it's like, I know hindsight's 2020, but who cares what might happen? I mean, anything can happen, like you could get struck by lightning right now sitting out in the yard.
Yeah, I remember my point. It's like anytime you get deep into business and you start making more money, there's going to seem like there's an insurmountable hill to pass over. It's going to happen. I don't care if you're in the cleanest business ever, insurance, whatever the cleanest business model is out there, cutting grass, lawnmower is going to break. But even in the best business situation, you could end up with a nightmare of a business partner who was great for a couple of years. And then all of a sudden it's like, who is this guy? And would you rather deal with like a monopoly of a corporation like Amazon shutting you down and knowing that you can probably get it back if you just are relentless and pay somebody or get some support, or like you're deep into business with somebody and now they're screwing you over, and how are you going to get past that? That's like an insurmountable hill to pass. It's like the more we grow, the worse it's going to get. And so that's one example there. There's so many examples. Maybe you have terrible employees. Maybe I know some bulk booksellers who scale to the point where they have these giant operations. And yes, bulk books are very profitable, but there's also a ton of overhead. So if you're not as extremely efficient as you can be, even by a couple percent, all of a sudden your cash flow can go negative and your P&L won't look that good at the end of the year. And literally a couple tweaks in like what kind of books you're sending in, how much you're paying your employees, what people you're hiring, how fast they scan books, are you using automation, how lean are you keeping your operation? It can be the difference of $500,000 or $1 million in profit for a bulk book guy doing 15 million a year. No joke. I have different friends that have completely different profit margins, and a lot of it comes down to how they manage and what kind of sources they have. And so that could be another issue you run into, is like all your employees that you have are now working under you, and then you have to tweak these things, and that can be very, very hard. So like business is hard. You just got to get that past your head. You can have every thrift store in your city, and say this city sucks, but somebody else is raking in a ton of profit. It's because they've gone like that one extra step. And so a lot of this at the beginning, a lot of it just comes down to volume. It's like, how many places are you willing to hit? How many conversations are you willing to have? And, how creative are you going to get with this? Like, how are you going to kind of push this to the next level and like find that honey hole, find that one relationship that is going to make your business? Because probably only going to be a couple of relationships that really help you take off to the next level. And so, yeah, just thinking that way.
It's the lowest hanging fruit, man. Right. So like on our monthly GoTo Lister call this Saturday, like I'm gonna put out my exact template that I got, like that I sent to libraries. Like it's literally, if you put in any effort, you're already beating the majority of people in this business. You literally just have to do a tiny, tiny little bit, and you will be leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else, because nobody's going to ask the question. Nobody wants the stuff we're looking for most of the time. So you literally, it's a win-win for everybody, and that's how you got to look at it. But you can't assume everything's already taken. Like, oh, somebody's already probably doing it. Oh, no, that's not the case ever. It's usually nobody's ever done this, and you're the first person that ever asked to go in their back room.
Yeah. Most people are very introverted. So whenever you can get to that next level, it can feel like wasting time starting out when you're building your book business to have those conversations, because 10 might go awry. They might not be very good, but all it takes is that one. I know so many people who are making full-time livings from one relationship. So just keep looking for that one. It could be the back room of a thrift store. Most of the time it is like at that scale, because they're getting pallets and they're allowing you to scan them first. It could be a library sale. Just look at what your skill set is, have the conversations. There's people that just buy shit on Amazon and resell it on Amazon. Joji and Victor, they literally just look for mega sellers underpricing their books, buy them and resell them. And so it's like, you kind of got to play around with what are you good at, and then keep pushing forward there. So a certain repricing software collapse, one repricer, Bill respects you. He didn't want to mention the repricer. What repricer do you recommend, Mike?
Wait, a certain repricing software collapsed? I'm not up with the times.
You're not.
Listen, I steer clear of all this mumbo jumbo. I use the same old shit, dude. I don't change nothing. Hopefully it wasn't my repricer. It wasn't repricing, right?
No, reprice is good. Neuroprice went down because of the API, or not API, but the scraping. I think something happened with that. So.
Yeah, I've always used. If you thrift, you don't need anything fancy. That's kind of the hill I've died on. I've used Reprice It since I started. I kind of stuck with it. Nothing crazy. I got a whole YouTube video that covers my exact settings. You can do a lot more with it than I do. You can price your books differently than CDs, and CDs different than DVDs. I just have a blanket one because I'm paying under $1 for this stuff. I like to keep my business simple. Let's just make some damn money, sell everything we can.
Yeah. But, and your numbers prove it, because you sell through almost all your inventory every 180 days, right? So you don't really get hit with those long-term storage fees.
If you guys all go on, we'll do a little fun task here for people watching or the replay. If you go to Seller Central, go to your dashboard. It's going to be top left menu. It's got to be on desktop, not on your phone. It's going to be in, let me see here, because I got it saved, so I'm not sure. Inventory and then dashboard. You are going to have a little storage utilization ratio. That's basically how long your items sit before they sell on average. Mine currently sits at 18.3 weeks. I would challenge anybody that has 5,000 pieces at Amazon of media to beat 18.3 weeks, because I don't think it can get much lower than that. So I pay no extra in storage utilization.
What is the 18.3 number?
18.3, it's storage utilization ratio on the dashboard.
I'm finally doing something right.
So yeah, I don't pay any extra for storage. On average, after 12 months, I liquidate or destroy everything. On average, I almost have it down to about under 50 units a month rolling every year gets liquidated or destroyed. So
are you ever like going through that and you're like, damn, there's this $300 religious book that sells like once a year, and like saving it, or are you just kind of like not worth it? If it didn't sell, I'm gonna get rid of it.
No, dude, the crazy part is like if every year I look at when I do like my breakdown and I'll look at, some of the highest items I've sold, like I don't have like none of the crazy bangers that like in my Discord, I got a bolo channel. People are selling like $300-$400 books. Like usually my top items like $300. I'm literal proof that you don't need to find like these gold bars to make a decent living at this. I just sell consistent items between $15 and $25, 50 plus every single day. That's all there is to it. And I avoid all the fees by just literally after 6 months, I go lowest FBA, regardless of buy box, regardless of condition, regardless of anything. So I literally, my storage fees are next to nothing. My removal fees are non-existent. I want to get it to the point where I have a month and I pay zero. Like I have no items that are going to be 12 months and older that month. And I think I'll probably get there hopefully sometime, maybe the end of this year, maybe Q4. But I just started kind of aggressively doing my repricing at the beginning of this year. So it's going to take a little bit of time because a lot of the shit don't sell, but we got to sell as much as we can.
Yeah. Got someone in here building their own repricer. One thing I will say, and sometimes I forget this, like the reason why on GoTo Lister we tell you like these price notifications is because repricing is such a complicated topic, and these repricers don't allow you to see the lowest 20 offers, which is why newer price was good, because it could kind of reprice against the lowest 4 FBA offers. But what we do at GoTo Lister is if you scan a book, let's just say a $300 2 million ranked book, and maybe that's not a good example, but I mean, I think of this example because one time I sold a Jewish set for $2,000 and the lowest merchant fulfilled offer was $1,300. And so I made an extra $700 by pricing 700 over 1,300 prime. I was prime, they weren't. And it made me realize that after I got that sale, every time I was at the bookstore and I saw a book with no FBA offers, I'm like, I could probably sell this for like $10 to $20 more. So a better example would be like a $20 book that's, let's just say, under 100,000 sales rank. There's no FBA offers. I could easily price that at $29.99 and get the sale. I could probably price it at $39.99 and get the sale if it's sub 100K. And so something to do, whether you're using GoTo Lister or another software, is like before you submit your inventory, look for any inventory that doesn't have FBA offers, or you could just optimize the price. Maybe there's 4 FBA offers, but the third FBA offer is priced much higher than the first. And so what you could do is make a little bit extra margin by waiting in line, waiting for those lower 2 sellers to sell out and get that extra profit. And so with GoTo Lister, what we've done is we notify you in purple when there's no FBA offers, or when we think there's no FBA offers. And we've also notified you when there's no offers at all. That's a better example of the higher ranked books. If you do scan like a 2 million ranked book, and a lot of times, shout out to Scoutly, because they actually do catch higher ranked books that don't have offers. At least for me, it'll ding green sometimes because it says, hey, this book was profitable at one point. What we'll do at GoTo Listers, we'll say, hey, this book doesn't have any offers at all. You should probably pay attention to that. Don't just go off of what your repricer wants it to be, because it might just set it to $15. So instead, if there's 0 offers, we encourage you to briefly open up that Keepa icon on GoTo Lister and see, oh, this book sold for $300 last year. And then just doing that on every batch, just looking for the no FBA offers and looking for the no offers at all. If there's no offers on this listing, looking at those 2 things is going to make you so much more margin. And then also reprice, or initially pricing books without FBA offers, or not FBA, books that have FBA offers but low sales rank, so they have really high demand. So high demand books, pricing those a little bit higher, which is automatically done on GoTo Lister via smart pricing. We automatically just price them higher. All those things are going to make you so much more margin. If you come in higher on books that sell fast, then you're making more margin on books that you're going to sell anyway. Why not sell them for a little bit more? These books are super fast sellers. And then for those other books I'm talking about, the no FBA offers, which could be fast selling or slow selling, you should probably price a little bit higher if they're under 1 million sales rank for no FBA. And if there's no offers at all, you should probably zoom out and see what's like a decent price this book has sold for. Don't be too greedy. Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. But think, oh, this book did sell for $300 six times. It sold for $400 one time. So maybe come in for 400. But the problem you're going to get yourself into is if you just rely on a repricer all the time, is you're going to get those books that go all the way down in price too fast, like initially sending them in. And so setting that initial price can help you a lot.
I agree. I think it's one of those things where, the no FBA offers have literally will probably make me an extra $30,000 to $50,000 in overall sales this year alone. You just gotta, like you said, the GoTo Lister makes it so easy with the damn keep a chart built right in, and it tells you if there's no other FBA offers. And I commented, somebody posted in the Facebook group, and I commented. I might have been a little snarky, but I don't care. They're saying, hey, why doesn't it just match the buy box? Like, why do I got to go through and manually price things? I literally said, we should be taking a second to look at what it's pricing it at anyway, right? Like, the software at the end of the day is guidance. It's not the end all be all. It's the same with the scanning software, right? It's a guidance. It's helping us make a decision. It's not, if it's red, it's red. If it's green, it's green. That's not how this works at all. So people that get in this idea of, oh yeah, smart pricing is great, 100%. But I still want you to go through and look at it. Make sure, all right, does this make sense? Does this seem like it makes sense? All right, this is a 10K DVD. I don't have to be first in line because it's selling 10 a day. I can be fifth in line and get an extra $2. You know it's eventually going to sell. If worst comes to worst, your repricer will bring it down to the buy box anyway, and you'll get the sale at that point, right? So why not try to get a little bit more money up front? There's so many more nuances like that. And I think people just, I think you babied everybody, dude, and you're the problem for making a software that just does everything for people. It kind of is kind of foolproof.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I've seen like the progression of all of this, and I remember back in the day, people would scan with Scout IQ and then get mad at AccelerList for being different prices. And so that's when I had the idea of smart pricing. That was also coupled with the fact that one time me and Caleb Roth did a library close down in Hiwassee, Tennessee. That Hiwassee College closed down, and we cleaned them out. And then we went back to the Airbnb. I don't know why Caleb wanted to hang out with me, but he did. And then his wife actually was listing all the books. And what she did was she looked at Scout IQ, and then on AccelerList, she would smack the price she wanted. So she would look at Scout IQ. Oh, the orange box would go to like $19.99. And then she was like, oh, this book should be priced at $19.99, not $12.99. And I'm like, you're taking forever to list. Like, I couldn't list that slow. That would piss me off. And she's like, well, we're making an extra profit by pricing intelligent. And I'm like, well, couldn't you just get the repricer to do that? And she's like, not necessarily, blah, blah, blah. Prices in the database might be different than the live prices, X, Y, Z. And so but what's funny is she was actually going off API data on the Scout IQ. So that's all according to the API. And so then when we made GoTo Lister, I'm like, let's automatically do this. So everything she was doing is done for you guys automatically when you use GoTo Lister. But then there's a handful of books that we just admit fault to. We don't know what you should do with them. And that's the zero FBA offers. We automatically price them 20% higher. But the truth is you can make $100 or even in my case, $700 extra profit on a book if you dig into the data, so.
It's a balancing act too, right? Because just because, you're going to have people out here trying to price all their shit at $10,000 now, but it's what is it ever sold for, right? You can't get crazy with it. Like I was reading the comments, so I scanned like the Spider-Man DVD, right? Like it's only ever sold, the most it's ever sold for, we'll say, is like $25. There's nobody on the listing. Don't think you can get $50 for this, right? Because the buy box will probably be suppressed. Be realistic. Yeah, get a little greedy like we're saying, but don't get nuts with it and think you're going to get $1,000 for the Spider-Man DVD. Like it'll never sell. And I think a lot of people send in a lot of items and they overprice them and then they don't sell. And they're sitting there like, well, man, like, why aren't these items selling? And your repricer never catches it because if there's no other FBA offers, there's nobody to even compete against. So like you have to take the time. And every video I've ever done where I price things with GoTo Lister, you guys will see me. That's the shit I do every weekend. I look at every single one. And sure, most of them I leave alone, but some of them you got to look at the keep a chart, takes 2 seconds, make a decision. Boom. That initial price is so important whether you have a repricer or not.
100%. Amazon wants to keep those prices low, to keep the customers happy, but there's so much margin. I mean, literally, there's been businesses built off of buying the lowest price book on Amazon, getting it sent to your house, resending it to Amazon and then selling it for more Prime. Like there's a lot of opportunity with Prime pricing, and it's important as an Amazon FBA seller to realize that, like, how much of your margin can be increased simply by taking advantage of the Prime offer. There's a software out there for bulk sellers. Maybe some people know about it. They stay on the low because technically what they're doing is like gray hat area with Amazon, but they'll scrape Amazon's data, and maybe they got into some shit too when Neuroprice did. But people pay 2% of their gross sales just to have their FBA inventory competitively priced against other FBA offers. So as an FBA seller, you want to price against other FBA offers. The problem is softwares like GoTo Lister, Reprice It, Scout IQ, Scoutly are limited by Amazon's API. GoTo Lister does its best, and then we tell you, hey, there's no offers. You should look at this. And so people will pay. They'll be doing $500,000 a month in sales. They'll be paying 2% of their sales to this software company. That's $10,000. They pay $10,000 a month. Why? To have their prices competitively priced against other FBA offers, because it's scraping the FBA offers, and then it's like, oh, FBA offer 5 is $20 higher than FBA offer 1 through 4. So let's come in at 5. Let's wait for FBA 1, 2, 3, and 4 to sell out, and you'll make an extra $20. And so pretty crazy, especially with textbook season coming up. Everyone that's got textbooks in your inventory right now, you're going to really see the power of the Prime bump and the power of waiting. Right now, all the textbooks are going to have, a lot of people 13 to 14 bucks, or that's a bad example, 30 to 40 bucks. Those $30 to $40 books now are going to go up to $70. A lot of them are, buy box wise. And so you're going to see these low offers for 30 bucks. By the time that third week of August comes around, a gang of sellers who are smart are going to be matching buy box hard the third week and just selling out and getting those buy box sales and that price spike the third week of August, because the textbook sales go like this: July, late July, and then August, third week of August, second, third week goes up, maintains for the first week of September, and then drops off. So all this that we're talking about right now is gonna take off pretty soon.
I want to answer Sally's question. What does a red A besides price mean under FBA category? On GoTo Lister, that just means that is Amazon on the listing. So that A stands for Amazon, and that means usually it's always in the new category because they're selling it new. I don't think I've ever seen an A in the used category, but that just means Amazon's on the listing. So when you're listing items as new, like CDs and DVDs, you have to double check, because what happens here, if you're kind of doing what me and Avery say, right? You see it's only Amazon's on the listing, and you just look at that initial screen there. Well, you just say, well, Amazon, I'm just going to price mine $5 more than Amazon. Well, you don't know that Amazon has 10,000 copies of the 40-year-old version. So your $5 extra is never going to sell because you didn't realize that they have multiple copies. So when you're listing new CDs and DVDs, if you're going to wait in line, make sure you click through some of these listings to see how many copies people have, because you might think you're second or third in line when in actuality you could be at 10,000th in line.
Mm-hmm.
FBA is saturated. That's funny. Elliot, I hope you're joking, man. For your sake, if I had an FBM and eBay business, I'd be living in Avery's hot tub in the yard because I'd be making no damn money. that's just the facts of life. FBA is the furthest thing from saturated. I don't care what category you sell. You sell diapers, you can sell used diapers. FBA is the way to go. I mean, it gives you freedom. Like me and Avery could just shoot the shit every night if we wanted to and still make money on Amazon because of FBA.
Yeah, it's an amazing form of, I'm gonna call it forced delegation. Amazon has forced you to delegate prepping. They've forced you to delegate customer service. They've forced you to delegate returns. And I guarantee you, if FBA didn't exist, like, everyone would be doing those things. I mean, they are that are not, and you're going to be bitching about them, and it's going to be hard to scale because you're going to have to do all the prep yourself, every single order that comes in. Customer service can be a nightmare. You got to keep the customers happy, especially if it's your own business. At least we get to use Amazon's branding. That's nice. Imagine having your own store and customers are complaining. That's your reputation on the line. So like all these things are delegated to us. Yeah, there's downsides to it, the account shutdowns, all that. But it really allows us just to scale fast and I think a lot of people don't realize that like they've delegated 90% of their business already by enrolling in FBA. And so all they have to do is pack a box and ship it out and then set up a repricer. Everything's done. And I watch entrepreneurs in the FBA space struggle to delegate. And I find it so ironic that their business was already forced delegated to them by Amazon. And now they can't get a damn VA, or they can't hire a lister, or they can't do XYZ. And I'm like, you realize like you're paying Amazon a ton of money, probably $100,000 a year if you're like a decent sized seller, in delegation, and your excuse for not delegating is like fee or is extra cost or whatever, and it's like you just are lazy, you know. And like rightfully so. Like running a business does suck, like having people underneath you, but like let's kind of keep that perspective of Amazon's done it for us, and because of that we can just pump inventory into them and realize the leverage we have, that we don't need a warehouse, we don't need people answering customer service questions, we don't need people getting returns, all of that stuff. And it's like when you hold that perspective, it's like, damn, like let me just ship as much shit as possible to Amazon and just fill this massive thing up as like a solopreneur, and you have a warehouse of people working for you in the background, you just don't see them, you know.
Where do I find triggers for non-buy box eligible? I'm very new. I might have it in my video, but I'll give you a quick 1 minute trigger for being brand new and not having the buy box eligible. You don't want to compare to the used buy box in your trigger set. You don't want to send anything that's got a sales score or e-score under 24. So your minimum is going to be 24 across the board. Focus on lower profit, higher moving triggers. So for books, I probably do like 1 to 100K, 250 profit until we get the buy box, and we can go back and revisit that. CDs and DVDs, you probably do 1 to probably 25K. But yeah, you don't want to compare to the buy box. You want to go off FBA slot 1, so you know you can be the lowest FBA. Send that item in. Still sell some items because you're not buy box eligible. Some people still filter to the cheapest prime offering, which will be you. And yeah, once you get the buy box, your business kind of flips upside down. But yeah, go check out the YouTube channel. I think I covered it in my video.
It's a good idea to check how many Amazon has in stock, depending on sales rank. They might sell out by the time yours get there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, you don't know until you click through. When you're listing new DVDs and CDs, and you got to check.
Yeah, this is just for new. For use, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
None of my FBA books sell. You probably send in crappy books.
Dude, come on, dude. That's not nice.
Do you ever turn off your repricer during Q4?
No. I turn that thing on. If I could run that thing 1,000,000 times a day, dude, I'm tanking every damn listing out there.
I think this is a good question, because it's like, essentially it's during peak demand. Are we going to turn off our repricer so our books sell for what we think they should sell for? Because earlier in this video, we were just talking about you should initially price your books smart. You should, not be greedy, but price them intelligently and price them a little bit higher and wait for them to sell. So it's kind of contradictory that during peak season, you're going to turn off your repricer or whatever. The best advice I was given during textbook season was during the third week, reprice hard. And it's like, well, why wouldn't I wait for my books to sell for the price I want them to sell for? It's like during the third week, on average, the market's at its highest price. And so that's when you should just cut your losses on the 20% inventory that's not going to sell for what you wanted it to sell for. And I'm speaking in terms of, I was doing online arbitrage in 2019, not a whole lot of it, but just a little bit. And like, you have an emotional attachment. You paid $20 for a book. You want it to sell for at least 50. It doesn't matter if it's fucking 40 the third week of August, like just get rid of it, And maybe Victor and Joji would disagree with me, but this is a mentality that really helped me as like a consignment textbook seller. So during the third week, my average buy cost was 0 for my book. So I didn't really care as much, but the fact of the matter is you're going to get the highest price during peak season. So in this case, it's Q4. So during peak season, I guess peak season really for other categories, I'd say it's peak season for books too, from my experience. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
It's not crazy, but it's
nothing crazy, but better than March for sure. Better than into February, March, April. I always thought November was kind of a tough month, but like I always thought October was much better than like late February, March. But I was always textbook heavy. But I guess my point is during peak season, don't be greedy. Like drop the price. If you're selling Christmas books, whatever, that's when you should be selling them. And sounds like Mike's kind of like just keep doing what you've been doing.
Sell it all today. There's a meme. It's from one of the stock market movies, and the guy says, "Sell it all today." Having 5,000 pieces of inventory is not cool. Or I'd rather have zero. I'd rather sell it all today. Like if somebody come and make me an offer that trust me, I'm not hard to negotiate here. The thing is, dude, this stuff's everywhere, right? Like we can go walk to the town, and there's going to be a library. There's going to be a thrift store. There's an infinite supply of this. So let's turn and burn. Let's get some cash coming into the bank account. I promise you, once you start selling more, you start making more money. And once you start making more, life gets a lot easier. I'm telling you, it's a magical thing what happens when you try to get aggressive and start selling everything you got.
Mm-hmm. Wait until you get the 1,000 storage bill. I think, saying what I said earlier about the opportunity of FBA and just load that bitch up. I think a lot of optimists do get that mentality starting out. And then everything that turns green, they just ship out. And realistically, like I shot a 2-hour video course. If you guys want to go check it out, Mike's featured in module 4 and module 1 a little bit. I'd store your triggers. And in module 1, when we go over triggers, you talk about, I think your lowest triggers are like $4 or $5, somewhere in that range. Yeah. And at the beginning of the video, I'm like, you guys should like lower your triggers just so you get more false positives and kind of learn how to do this. But then in the second part of module 1, I'm like, well, Mike's probably got really good advice. Like if you raise your triggers to at least $4 or $5 on average, then you're probably going to be sending in really good stuff. And Elliot, this is like, I've seen this probably 257 times since I started doing this, probably more, where somebody just sends in way too much crap. And these are the people that try to sell their book businesses a couple months in. And it's just a matter of sending in crappy books. So, if you're in that position, you got to really reassess, like, what are you sending in? And then there's rare circumstance where somebody's not buy boxing or whatever. But really, you should have a pulse on your business. You should be selling at least 20% each month. Do you have a different number in your head? Like what percent of inventory?
I'm fine with 20. I mean, in media realm, if you're doing anywhere like above 12 or 13, I won't yell at you about it. Usually those people kind of aren't as super aggressive and they don't penny undercut like I do. They match the buy box. I think, as long as you're above 12%, I think you're fine. And you just have to realize, right, we got to send in thousands of units. We sell tens of thousands of these a year. So you got to send in tens and thousands of these, which means you got to scan hundreds of thousands of these things. It's just like, it's all analytical when you look at it. But yeah, you got to, it is what it is. How long does it take to buy box eligible? This is a loaded question. I've seen somebody get the buy box in a month. I've seen somebody 18 months. The more you send, that's why I want you to focus on the better moving stuff. And starting out, you're going to have to merchant fulfill at least 5 fast moving books. Amazon, from my understanding, wants to see as many data points on your account as they possibly can. So even though you're FBA seller, I need you to be the FBM seller for a short period of time, just so you have a little bit of data on the back end. Also request reviews for all of your FBA orders that are completed, because if you get an FBA review and it's negative, you can have it struck out for next to any reason, although that may be changing with feedback changes coming down the pipeline here in the near future. But for the time being, any FBA feedback can be struck through. So you just it can take a month. I usually tell people to probably take 2 to 3 months, depending on how hard you're going and starting out.
Amazon approved me for DC Comics and revoked it. That happens sometimes. It used to happen with Pearson, textbook brand. You'd request approval and immediately it'd tell you you're good. You check again in a few minutes. So
I think a lot of these gates are based on sell-through. I think they want you selling items of these brands to stay ungated. I've never run into any of these Universal gates, Scholastic, any of this shit. I mean, I'm ungated in like Pokemon, Nintendo, like some of the big ones.
It could be. You also have more sales history than most people.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of variables that go into it. But if you guys need to get ungated in anything, I'm not joking. I just shot an ungated video. And I'd be curious your thoughts on the video. I don't know if you watched it or not, but my number one piece of advice I gave people is first try to sell as many books as they let you sell, and then you'll get auto ungated in most of them. And then I went into Christian book, whatever. But at the end of the video, what I'm sharing with you guys now, what I shared earlier, is if you have any brand restrictions that you really want to get past, I have a contact that can probably get you ungated literally in anything, even if you're red restricted. So take advantage of it while you can. We never know how long it's going to last. Make hay while the sun shines.
I mean, if you had a company, you wouldn't let Joe Blow just come on today and start selling whatever the hell they wanted, right? So it's kind of Amazon wants you to prove yourself. And I don't think there's anything
Amazon's
wrong
kind
with
of
it.
like, right now, I feel like they're like, fuck, resellers make us so much money, but we don't want a lawsuit. Resellers make us so much money, but we don't want a lawsuit. Like, they're just like going back and forth between this. That's my interpretation. Like, they're gating, they're ungating, they're suspending accounts. Like, they just like are ebbing and flowing. And the truth is, brands, people selling other people's brands, which includes booksellers, other publishers, whatever, like that makes up so much of their revenue. But they also want to protect themselves from the bad actors that are shipping books from India or stealing goods, selling them. So they're kind of like pushing and pulling right now with that.
Yep.
But
what else we got going on here? Just submit it to a different item, a different universal item. And if they still keep giving you that, call somebody. They got a phone line. You can call somebody, get a hold of somebody that's actually not a computer. Like Avery said, like sometimes you got to be a thorn in their side repeatedly, right? Like, and then finally you get the ball rolling. But you have the actual documents.
isn't that so bizarre? That
It is.
like, you just have to apply for something 13 times. I
always
think
been that way.
I think, I guess I'm a conspiracy guy with Amazon because I'm always thinking like, why the fuck are they doing things a certain way? I feel like they're just trying to see if you're like finagling the system at all. Like if you Photoshop it, if you used AI, don't use AI, by the way, for any pictures, anything with, you can do it for private label, but don't use it for like appeals or anything. I feel like they're just looking for that one thing where like, oh, we got you. You
Yep.
tried to lie to us, or you tried to upload an invoice that wasn't legit. When like the first time you had a legit invoice didn't work, and you're like, oh, that didn't work. Well, let me try something else over here. Not a good idea. Like just keep pushing forward with the thing that's good. And I think maybe that's their system. It's kind of twisted, but
I think you're right. And like you said, it's like I remember probably like a year or so ago, people were just like, just submit a selfie and you'll get approved for like all these brands. And I'm just like, they keep a paper trail somewhere of all this shit, right? Like if somebody goes and looks and they just see, oh, you got ungated with Nike and it's just a picture of you shirtless in the mirror, like no shit, they're gonna come for you.
yeah. I was even paranoid when you said like that one picture of a box people were downloading from Google of like a Lowe's or Walmart box.
Yeah, dude.
And then uploading the GoTo Lister. It's like if everyone's using the same picture, it's probably not going to like result in anything crazy. But Amazon,
that's all right. They already reimbursed me. To hell with everybody else. You're on your own.
I would just try to take a picture myself, but you never know. Like it's. I know a lot about Amazon now. Like I'm not too far from like the people that work at Amazon. I've been having a lot of conversations with people recently.
No, I mean, it's stupid because theoretically, what we do with GoTo Lister's batch history, it don't mean shit, and they'll reimburse some of us for our whole box that they lost. Right? It's like this shit should not work.
This looks official. Yeah, $5 and up for FBA, $20 and up for eBay. What are they talking about? $5 and up for what?
Probably profit for triggers.
Oh, okay, yeah. Make sure it wasn't sales price. When you're FBAing, the struggle is finding enough inventory to keep up with the sales. As long as you're sending in good stuff. A lot of people don't have that issue, Mike or Matt. But if you're sending in good stuff, that is the issue. And you'll figure it out eventually. Once you sell long enough, you should find out what inventory is good. I think the bulk sellers that I know that kind of fuck this up is like they just like send in too much stuff. Like they have like too many $7 to $8 books and it makes up like 40% of their inventory. And it's like, you should probably just cut back on that stuff. But once you find out really what sells, it's just a matter. It's like to the races, just send it in after that. What up, Julius? Just became a member.
Appreciate you. Make sure you get in the Discord. Make sure you hop on the weekly calls, get involved. And if you use GoTo Lister, make sure you hop on over and shoot them a message so you get your discount.
You just saved $60 a year with GoTo Lister by joining.
I mean, we literally pay people to get smarter and make more money. I don't know what the hell we're thinking out here.
Avery, thanks for your email to Google Doc 150 books to get ungated. I got ungated in all those books except like 4 or 5. Nice. We refined that. It's much better now. So if you guys want to get ungated, just type in Romer the Roamer, how to get ungated in books. And we have a brand new video that has a list of ASINs that help you auto ungate. So, what time is it?
Dude, we make it so easy, man. Let's be real. It is not easier than ever to start selling media on Amazon and easily do over six figures in sales. Like I have part-timers that do this 1 or 2 days a week that have multiple kids and husbands and households and full-time jobs, and they still knock it out of the park over six figures in sales. Selling media on Amazon is such a crazy
Yeah,
opportunity.
I think something to realize for everyone watching is like location's extremely important. Whether you're in Chicago, New York, LA, Middle Arizona, like I went all over the country sourcing books, and like areas are just different. Most areas are decent. There's like there's not like one state that's a dry spell, but there's different sources in different states. And I think something to realize is like some states might have really good libraries but bad thrift stores, and some states you might have to hustle a little bit harder. Some states, some small towns might just suck. This might not be the business for you, like if we're saying it frank. But like somebody like that you just mentioned, Mike, that can go out in the weekends to make a full-time income, like don't compare yourself to them from day one, because you have to go through the 48 thrift stores that suck to find the 2 that are good. I say thrift stores, I mean all locations, like libraries, estate sales, whatever. You have to go through the 48 locations that suck to find the 2 that are good. And then you can run that lean 2 to 4 hour weekend business where you go out and source like a shit ton of books because you got the contacts, it's good, you're doing everything right. And then a year into the business, you have so much more leverage than your past self, because your past self didn't know where the hell to go. Your past self was going on Wednesday to a thrift store where everyone knew the books came out on Tuesday, and they all scanned them on Tuesday, and you came on Wednesday. Like you got to find out when the books are put out there. So when you hear about these anomalies of people doing really well, realize that there's either an extreme amount of luck that was put in, which happens to a lot of you guys, and I'm happy for the ones it does happen to. But then for people that aren't lucky, like it's the people that didn't quit that found out which stores were good, or they made relationships with the libraries and the thrift stores and got the backroom access. They worked a little bit harder, and so they put in the legwork to where now they have the 2 to 4 locations they can hit up on a regular basis and just get paid. So don't judge yourself against people online who are doing X number in sales. Like, and I always like to assume that I'm stupider than everyone else. I don't even know if that's a word.
I know I am. I just work harder.
Yeah, like just realize, okay, like these people, and I think courage or hard work or whatever could be a form of intelligence. Maybe not. I say it to make myself feel better. But assume you're starting from square one and somebody else started at square 32, and you got to catch up to them, and you have to go do the extra work. And then when you go through it in your city, maybe you'll find out you just don't even like doing this fucking business. Get out of here. That's fine too. You'll find out pretty quickly. But if you do get the bug of like, oh, I love buying a book for $1 and selling it for $100, and you enjoy listening to a podcast like I do for a couple hours straight during a day, like when you find out whether or not this business model is for you, and if you think you could enjoy doing it, then it's just a matter of let's find the highest profit places and let's just hammer them over and over again. It's not going to happen like that. Like you have to put the work in for it to work out.
I agree, man. It's how I fix Scally so the items, no FBA offer, show a screen for further review. You just look at your phone when you scan. Unless you got $1 million phone, I set mine right on the shelf, and I hear all you nerds that just have earbuds in, and I just said earlier in this call, like I'll probably make an extra 40K in sales this year off of just looking at my phone on the shelf.
You're right.
It's the second column. It's an amazing little column. All you have to do is look, and you see nothing there. Just stop for 2 seconds and say,
are you anti-wrist too?
Yeah, come on. I got the finger scanner. That's all I can do. That's as far as my nerding goes. But like, it takes 2 seconds. Like
it's actually pretty good. I bought my mom one. I never used it because I felt like a dork. But like and it's also just because like I don't buy myself stuff like that. It's like I can just put it on the shelf and just scan and look at it. But yeah, I don't think I would do this business if I couldn't listen to stuff. If I couldn't listen to like an audiobook, I used to listen to one audiobook a day with when I was like hitting thrifts every day when I first started this. Like landscaping and selling books on Amazon had one thing in common. That was I could listen to audiobooks and podcasts all day. And now the work I do, I can't. And and now I just drive. I just get in the car and drive around and put an audiobook on because I'm not doing the mundane work. I checked the newer list. I used one from a few weeks ago. Thank you for doing this. Yep. Thank you for whoever. We had to get one GoTo Lister user to share their computer screen, and then my team had to go in and just manually copy and paste everything into there. Or not manually. We used the apply button on GoTo Lister, but we did 200 requests on their computer in like an hour. So appreciate that. How to get ungated in books. We just went over that. Go type in how to get ungated in books, Romer the Roamer. It'll pop up. I don't know. Do you have an ungating video, Mike?
No. Do exactly what you said. Send in some stuff. Send in the 5% they let you sell. Over the next 3 to 6 weeks, they will let you send in more items, and you'll be able to just apply for them automatically right through GoTo Lister. It's just kind of attrition. You got kind of the cheat code, and it will knock down some gates, but you're still going to have some that they're just going to want you to send a box or two, and then they'll automatically come down.
I personally, we're deep enough in this video, I can say this. I think my ungating list does maybe help, but I'm more leaning towards like the sales history is what.
Yeah, but I mean, both will work. You'll knock down a few gates quicker than you otherwise wouldn't. And if it's just easy, it's just uploading the file, then holy shit, just take the 3 minutes to do it. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here. I got my GoTo Lister call this Saturday. If you use GoTo Lister, we have a monthly coaching call.
Get in there, guys.
Like I said, I'm gonna be sharing my exact spreadsheet that I sent out to libraries. That should be motivation enough for people to get libraries. Is the fact that a guy that can't properly pronounce library has multiple library connections should piss everybody off, that they should be on the phone right after we end this live getting connections at your local library. But I'm going to share my exact email template, and all you got to do.
How much profit is that? Have those connections with the libraries made
it's
in last year?
It's at least 10, if not 25. Like 10's the low, probably 25 the high.
How much easier does it make you, like, help you source books? Like, is the success rate just like this?
Dude, it's the best stuff. It's the best stuff. It's unpicked. It's straight from people's collections that they want to get rid of. So where do they take their stuff? To the library. And it's literally nobody touches it. I'm the only person. Like, it amazes me that these connections are out there. And yeah, I'll be sharing the exact template. And you guys, it's so stupid. It's so stupid easy. I just need everybody to kind of just put in a tiny little bit of effort. And, you can have a big, beautiful business, and you kind of can sit around and shoot the shit and still get paid and go on vacation and buy houses and hot tubs and until he gets thrown out by the HOA. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
All right, brother. Thanks for hopping on. Everyone, go sign up for GoTo Lister so you can see Mike on the used book call.
Yeah, on the used book call.
On the call. And even if you guys don't want to use GoTo Lister in the long run, just try it for 14 days. You get mobile listing, smart pricing, super fast batch creation. You can send later. You can schedule your send, instant FNSKU generation after that. So it's pretty cool software.
Updated tutorials. We got everything covered under the sun. The best damn support out there. Listen, I know we're taunting ourselves up here like the best, but we kind of are the best when it comes to this business. So the hell with everybody else. Everybody have a good one. We appreciate you.
Peace.